My name's Owen Recio. I'm from a little town in Piedmont, South Carolina. I'm currently 20 years old, and I had my injury about a year ago now, and I had a T12 L1 complete spinal cord injury. My injury was once in a blue moon. It was a freak accident. No one was responsible for it, anything like that. I was just horsing around with a couple friends, and we came to these set of stairs where there's a ledge drop off, and I had a friend on my shoulders at the time. And when we kind of went off that ledge, he was still on my shoulders. So when I landed on my feet, I just went right to my knees, and all that weight cinched on my back and kind of made my spine roll and compressed my spinal cord. And that's where my spinal cord injury happened. And from that instant, I was paralyzed, couldn't move my legs. We ended up calling 911, and I was able to get in the ambulance and start heading towards the hospital to get intense surgery. Surgery went as good as it could have gone, had the best surgeons, and I'm glad that I did.
Owen, after his accident, ended up in our ED, to where then he had his surgery here and went through acute care physical therapy services at Greenville Memorial. So at that point, once he was actually stable, he went and saw my friends upstairs, like an inpatient rehab, and received care from them to be able to go home. And then he came to me from an outpatient level just to get even more independent, even more functional, and kind of see what he would actually be able to accomplish. I did start with ambulation with him early on, but I also spent his first few sessions just really making sure that he could do any type of transfer that he needed, that his wheelchair skills were really good, and that he was able to function from that level, because him being able to live his life without any restrictions was the most important. It didn't take him long to get really good at the things that he needed to do for that. So then I was able to move towards, okay, what does it look like for you to start walking? I personally, especially having the 0G here, like to try to get people on their feet as quickly as possible. So I actually had him strapped up in a harness. From that point, it also allows an assessment point for me too, so I can kind of see what we're actually working with in a way that I'm not hands-on with him. I actually can just see what his body's going to do. From there, I kind of targeted that he needed a lot of work with his trunk and hips. So we started there with a lot of different tasks, and then also just assessing, particularly his left quad was not really wanting to function as well. So seeing how much we could activate that. We knew that he was a bracing candidate early on. I brought in Brandon very quickly to try to look at some of those things.
My first interaction with Owen was in the same room with the 0G. Kaylan called me over to evaluate him to see what style the braces might be appropriate. And upon watching him walk and seeing what he could do, we both realized that he would be a candidate for a C-brace. The C-brace is a brace that runs from the thigh all the way down to the ankle. It has a hydraulic unit controlled by a sensor, and this sensor is continuously monitoring the knee angle and acceleration of the joint, and it uses this information to adjust the resistance of the hydraulic unit while he's walking. The overarching goal with orthotics is just to get people as functional as they can be. And the benefit here at the hospital is we all work very closely and communicate very well with the same goal in mind of getting these patients up and functional.
With the technology that Roger C. Peace has provided for me, along with my orthotist and my therapist, I've reached new plateaus, and the sky's the limit. I have no end in sight. I just keep going every day, one day at a time. My therapist is definitely, it's like a big sister to me. She motivates me when I need to be motivated. The recovery for a spinal cord injury is almost in sync with the therapist and the patient. It's not one-sided, and it's a lot of push and pull, a lot of give and take. I would definitely say that my therapist is perfectly suited for me. It's been a long journey and recovery, and definitely in a better state now, especially as far as pain and mobility and stuff like that, and support and dependency. But every day is a new challenge, whether it's going to class for the first time or dealing with how to get out of a parking spot when I can't get to my car because of my wheelchair. But having the community that I have, my family, my therapist, friends that are at class with me at the time, helping me get through those situations, it's helping me grow as a person. It's helping bring wheelchair advocacy to my community.